The first set of the second match will be played on Korhal, Floating Island. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the Green Terran, playing for WOONGJIN Stars, the first place team. His name is Light.
His opponent, top left on Korhal, Floating Island, as Red Terran, playing for SK Telecom T1. His name is Fantasy.
Yes. I believe Fantasy's most recent victory was over Reality. Once again proving that what's in your head is more important than what's in the real world. How you perceive things more important than
I'm not too sure
they're
about
actually
that.
like in the real world. So if you think you can fly, then you can fly.
Don't actually try to do it in real life.
Yeah.
Just 2 cents from me.
Don't try it. Don't blame me if you're stupid enough to believe what I said.
I don't think they'll remember what you said after they try to fly.
Yep. That's actually a pretty solid point you bring there.
That's why do not try this at home.
Do not. Well, the Starcraft try at home, but like.
Oh yeah, Starcraft.
Flying, do not try at home. Unless you're in like an airplane. Then you can fly.
Now, this is a match between WOONGJIN Stars and SK Telecom T1. These two teams, WOONGJIN Stars does lead 4-1 against SK Telecom T1, but their last encounter, SK Telecom T1 did defeat WOONGJIN Stars 4-3.
Yeah, they did. Still a close game, but WOONGJIN Stars did end up falling to SK for the first time here. And SK Telecom looking pretty good recently overall, not too shabby. We've seen Bisu play a little bit better overall. Fantasy, of course, always being a pretty good, solid player to the roster as well. And ooh, look at this. We got a pretty interesting location for a barracks from Light. And this is going to be a second racks room, so a proxy double racks opening from Light.
What do you expect from Light today? What do you think you're going to see? Tons of Reapers or just tons of Reapers or tons of Reapers?
I think we're going to see tons of Reapers. That's just my personal opinion, though.
You sure about that?
You don't have to take my word for it.
You sure about that? Because I'm also thinking tons of Reapers from our Terran player Light, as he's going for the Reapers from the first barracks.
Well, this is going to be a very powerful build if your opponent doesn't get a lot of units early on. Fantasy is going for the command center after getting that barracks there, and he's grabbing 2 refineries behind this as well. The Reapers may not end the game for Light, but they can put him in a pretty solid position against this fast command center following the barracks.
Yeah, in fact, if you have up to 3 to 5 Reapers, if you have nice control, you can take out every single SCVs, given the fact that Fantasy is not making that many Marines behind this.
Best case scenario, Light forces a cancel on that expansion, and Fantasy has to make a bunker.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the best case scenario. Now, here's the first Reaper. Going to scout that there is a command center, so now Light is... You know, Light is probably happy about the command center opening from his opponent Fantasy.
Fantasy hacking away a little bit on that Reaper, but remember the Reapers in Heart of the Swarm, they regenerate their health, so it's only a matter of time before that Reaper is back up to full strength. Fantasy, he's going to go ahead and build a factory behind this. I don't think he realizes that this is just more than one Reaper here. He probably thinks it's just one.
Nobody realizes that there's going to be more than one Reaper if they see a scouting Reaper early in the game, and this time around there's 3 Reapers instead of just 1.
Fantasy realizes what's going on here. He needs to place a bunker down. He's got an additional Marine out, but the SCVs need to come off the mineral line very soon here. He is in a very bad position here. Fantasy could actually end up losing this game very quickly to his opponent Light from WOONGJIN Stars.
He needs completes around on the Reapers, but like I said, Reapers, you can micro them all day long and pick up the SCVs one by one, as Light does not even have to run away. Fantasy, I don't know how he can actually win in this position. He's throwing down the bunker right now, but that's too many Reapers, 2 additional Reapers joining the main fight.
Fantasy is building a Hellion behind this. 2 additional Reapers coming in here, and this is just looking so bad for Fantasy here. Already up to 11 workers have been killed. Light, he may be, he's up 21 workers to 10, and I think that there's no way that Fantasy is going to come back, even if he can somehow defend against these Reapers. 19 workers have been killed. There is nothing that Fantasy has against these Reapers here.
Micro those Reapers, and even the Hellion is not scary as the Marine is caught out of position. It does go inside the bunker, but it doesn't matter as Fantasy, he only has mules left behind this.
Got a grand total of 1 very hurt Marine and 0 workers. Fantasy, true to his name, refusing the GG until the last second. And behind this we have Light making an additional command center. Fantasy building a few additional units here, but come on, man. You gotta know when it's over.
It's Fantasy.
I know, like, I should like, everyone knows Fantasy's going to do this, but, like, come on, man. You know this game is completely over. he basically, what he's doing is, okay, at least he's trying to send a Hellion to his opponent's base and get a few worker kills, but one Hellion is not going to do the same amount of damage of 9 Reapers.
And also, the triple command is finishing right now. That's going to be 3 all-row commands, so he doesn't need,
Even
to make
lifting
SCVs.
the natural command center. Oh, Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Well, I guess, you know, maybe it's something to do with his name. You know, he likes to think about things. Like, in his wildest dreams and his weirdest fantasy, he actually wins the game with 1 Hellion.
Well, he's doing a nice job against the SCVs. The problem is, that's all he has right now. The one single Hellion that he has inside the main base of Light.
I want to see Light just, like, drop a few mules down on Fantasy here. And up! Oh, almost killing. Okay, there we go. The Hellion is picked off. Fantasy, though, he's still got a bunker. And a few Marines in there.
And he's doing a nice wall, which means that he's going to be able to save all of his SCVs that he has right now. And the grand total of SCVs that he has? 0.
He's got 3 mules, though. And I guess Terran players can come back from mules, but against other Terran players, no. Is Fantasy going to make a Widow Mine or something behind this?
He could possibly go for it. He does have the gas, he does have the minerals to go for any type of tech he wants to at this point. The problem is, he makes 1 unit and he is broke once again.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he could go for the tech lab, he could get a siege tank out, he could use the minerals to build a Hellion, he could try to get the Widow Mine out. Problem is the economy between the 2 players. Fantasy is quote-unquote stabilizing.
He even killed off that reactor add-on there. Add-on. All right. Additional Marines are moving across the map, and I think with those Marines, that's going to seal the deal for Light. There's just Fantasy's not going to have anything to kill those.
It's just unlucky because Fantasy just opened up standard against his opponent Light today, but Light wanted to go for a really aggressive play, and Fantasy did not expect this at all.
Yeah. And he didn't even bother scouting as well, which kind of hurt him out a bit. Hurt him a little bit. Well, behind this Light, he's just macroing up, man. He's got 3 command centers. It's 77 to 22 supply. There is about a 0% chance of Fantasy actually coming back in this game here. But I mean, Fantasy doesn't give up, man. But even for Fantasy, this is a pretty long GG timing.
Yeah, it seems like Fantasy prepared a lot for today's match as he doesn't want to GG out just yet. The problem is, even if he doesn't GG right now, there's no way that Fantasy can actually win this game.
GG! Fantasy being destroyed by the Proxy Reapers. Never had a shot against that build. Light takes the victory. And with that, we're going to have a quick 1-0 score for WOONGJIN Stars.
Hey, Fantasy actually teaching a lot of players out there, never give up.
Never surrender.
Never surrender until the very last second, until you have 0 SCVs and 0 units.
Fantasy, he's the kind of guy that will float his command center into the top left-hand corner.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go into a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have Bravo versus Bisu. So stick around. We'll be back after the commercial break.